Hello, everybody. Welcome back to College Football 25. We are here in the first week of our season. I guess it's officially week one, or, not week zero. We don't play week zero, but we do play in week one. And we do play the UTEP Miners. Now, if I remember correctly from our schedule screen, I believe UTEP was around 500 last year. I think they might have went 6-7. They might have even went to a bowl game and lost that bowl game. That's how they got to 6-7. Potentially. But either way, we have a new look Aggies team, really. It's mainly the defense, which is the new look. The defense has been completely bolstered. It has increased tremendously since last season. And then the offense has also increased in certain areas. The biggest thing, of course, is that we have Forrest Brock as our quarterback. There he is, right there running, number 0. He's wearing the block O for us. So, and then, of course, we don't have Rasul Faison as running back either. So this is going to be a different kind of game plan, I guess, we have to approach here. So on 1st and 10 in our first drive here, Forrest Brock's going to drop back and uncork a long ball, and he finds an open receiver. His route hadn't even finished. I threw it a little bit too early, but he still got it. So fast forward to his 2nd and 8 here. Rolling out is Forrest Brock, and he throws a dangerous pass across the middle. I think it was Jack Hysteria who somehow caught that. So 1st and 10 now. We're going to hand it off to Robert Briggs Jr. He's got some room on the outside. Cuts up inside and cuts again towards the middle of the field, shakes off a man and gets just about all we need, but we need a few more inches, so we're going to give it to Briggs, and there's a linebacker who read that play perfectly, but still couldn't get to Briggs Jr. before he got the first down. So on 1st and 10, we're going to go out to the corner, and that one is well guarded by UTEP's secondary, so they were not fooled by the corner route. So on 2nd and 10, pressure comes off the edge and finds Forrest Brock, absolutely hammered, had no time to throw that football. So on 3rd and 19, we're going to go for his screen, and Briggs Jr.'s got some space up the middle of the field, and he gets back most of what we lost, but we can't quite get to the first down. So we're going to bring out Valencia to attempt his first kick as an Aggie, and it is, I still can't kick in this game. I can't kick. So if you expect something different, you're not going to get it, because I can't kick. I tried. I certainly tried. I gave it the old college try. How about that? And, still didn't work. So we're going to come up empty-handed on our first drive, and UTEP is going to get an opportunity here, but they're facing a 3rd and 1 just inside of Aggie territory, and we stuffed that running back right at the line, but he definitely had enough forward momentum to get across it. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Miners, and then the quarterback's going to float that one out, and it looked like J.D. Drew tried to jump that route, but he could not do it. So 2nd and 4 now. The last play of the first quarter, they're going to hand it off to the running back, and he's got a little bit of a step here, but just couldn't really get to the sticks fast enough. He was moving like a turtle back there. It was weird. So, but that's going to do it for the first quarter. Neither team can get into the end zone. We essentially took the entire first quarter to get to the end zone, but we couldn't even cap off our own drive. So that is how things have transpired. So coming out of the little brief commercial break here in the second quarter, 3rd and 1, we're going to go with the play action, and we have pressure getting to the quarterback instantaneously. So 0 time taken on that one as we shot through that gap. So after the punt here, it's going to be 1st and 10 for your Aggies, and Forrest Brock finds an open man. He's got a step here, and now it's a foot race between 2 UTEP defenders, and they do catch up because he does not have the speed here, and I think it's one of our transfer receivers. Or it might just be our tight end, I think, actually, our new tight end. So we don't want Brock Lane either, so we can't rely on that. So on 2nd and 8 now, we're going to try and throw for it again. Going to throw across the middle, and somehow a receiver hauls that one in after being blanketed in coverage. So on the next play, we're going to go with Briggs Jr., who picks up the first down. So on 1st and 10, we're going to go out of the flat again. And I think that's Cottle, the backup running back, who caught that one. So 2nd and 4, we're going to go with another handoff here, just shimmying around back and forth. And he gets brought down into the end zone for the first Aggie touchdown of the season. And who else than Robert Briggs Jr.? You had to guess that he was probably going to get it right. If it was either a receiving touchdown or a rushing touchdown with Briggs Jr., it was probably going to be him, right? If you were a betting man or woman, that was probably the safer one. So 1st and 10 now. We're going to cut ahead. UTEP struggling on offense, and this one's going to be a jet touch pass to Otto Tia, and Otto Tia gets the edge here and cuts upfield. I was going to try and lean into that defender and juke out of him, but he ended up just taking on that defender full on. So on the very next play here, 1st and 10, and breaking towards the middle of the field, wide open in the blue. Boom. Touchdown. No one was back there. I was reading that safety and looking for it. Might be a shock to you guys that, yeah, I'm looking for the safety since I throw so many terrible picks with safeties in the equation. But that one, I was looking for it, and I saw Grant Page just break towards the middle of the field, and nobody was out there. So, and Grant Page, it has to be probably receiver 4 or 5 on the depth chart, probably in that high 60 or mid 60 range, man. But hey, man, if we're making plays here with those guys, then that works. UTEP still struggling on offense, so we're just going to take advantage of that. And I for sure thought he was going to get tackled after this, but he wasn't. So again, it's another foot race, but not enough speed from Willis to get away from these defenders. But he is having himself a monster game. So on 1st and 10, Forsbrock again going to try and throw for it. And across the middle of the field is Otto Tia, who hauls that one in and gets pushed out of bounds on 3rd and 4. We just got a little bit more space to go. We can get a first down. We can also get or get into the end zone. And so on that play, everything was guarded up pretty well, and I couldn't really get rid of it quick enough. So we're going to go for a field goal this time, and Valencia makes it this time. It's a little bit easier of a chip shot, even though we were on a different side of the field than Valencia was probably comfortable with. But that is going to be all she wrote for halftime. So 17-0 is your score at half. UTEP's offense has really been pretty stagnant. They haven't really been able to do much of anything against this high-powered defense, and that's what really we're going to expect to see all season long here. Even if we struggle on offense a little bit, the defense should always kind of pick up the slack, and we shouldn't expect to give up too many points on that side of the ball. And I don't want to do like an Iowa type thing where we're not expecting to score a lot on offense and we're expecting to just play really well on defense, because I do want to score. We need to score a lot of points. So just getting comfortable with Forsbrock as quarterback and our new receiving core here. We've really been peppering it to Willis, our new tight end. So haven't really gotten a lot of the new guys involved here. It's still a lot of familiar faces. So UTEP's first drive out of the half, and yeah, it's already going the wrong direction. I think it's Locklear, I think is the quarterback's name. I think it's kind of like Lockhart, but not really. But he gets sacked and eats quite a bit of grass, as that is Kai Hughes. I think Kai Hughes is just a returning player. I think he's now probably a starter because we lost some guys on the line. I don't think he was a transfer, but either way, he gets the sack laid down. So on 3rd and 20, it's 3rd and obvious essentially for UTEP, as they need to get all their yardage back. And Locklear's just rolling out, trying to find some open space, and he rolls right into Guerrero, who I'm pretty sure is a transfer. Yeah, he just got peppered, just peppered. I need to go back through and write down all those schools in which we got all of our dudes from, because that is because I know a lot of our team now is transfers, and that's going to be important to know who we're really plucking from and getting all this production from. So we get the ball back here on offense, and Forsbrock's going to lay it all out to Jack Asteria. And yeah, just see, like I said earlier, you'd be surprised to think I'm looking for safeties, because on that one, that was a pretty obvious one to not throw. But on that route, I always glitch out whether to lob it or to bullet it, and sometimes I think I can lob it, and it'll the receiver will outrun the defenders, and he never does. Or I could just bullet it, and it'll get there before the defenders get there, and it doesn't work. So, but on our next offensive drive, we give to Robert Briggs Jr., who's got a burst of speed, gets around that last defender, and gets into the end zone for his second touchdown of the day. And again, man, if you were to bet on who was going to have the bigger day here offensively for this team, whether it be Forsbrock in our receiving core or Robert Briggs Jr. at the backfield, then, yeah, your safe bet would be him because he's going to probably be a good portion of what we do on offense all season long, which I'm fine with, because running ended up being a very, very viable thing for us to do last season with some of the struggles that I had on passing and finding good plays that I was comfortable calling and finding open targets on. So running ended up being the saving grace. So UTEP did score towards the end of the third quarter. I had paused my recording to do something like while I was playing the game, and I forgot to unpause it for like basically their entire drive, their scoring drive, but they went for 2 and didn't get it, so that's why it is now 6-24. So on our first offensive drive now, coming out of the fourth quarter, it's another horrendous pick by yours truly. And Forsbrock, man. I can't blame him. You know I can't blame him, but we're gonna try and be impartial like announcers here, like, oh, Forsbrock just not really feeling the field, man, and his first game as an Aggie, but gonna be a mixed bag. Either way, on 1st and 10 for UTEP, and they're gonna give the ball right on back to us, to a very, very familiar face on defense, man. That and just we haven't seen a ton of the turnovers, but I think he's faking that injury, man. I think he's faking that injury because let's be real here. I think you're all right, bud. Unless he got hit. No, he's been hit a few times. We've gotten to the quarterback a lot. There's some sacks I've even cut out, but yeah, he's been hit quite a bit. So maybe this one he wasn't even touched on that one. That was just a terrible pass, and JD Drew saw that one from a mile away as he has so many times last season. So just continuing his mark, and now Cottle, the backup running back, makes a nice hurdle and he gets the edge, and there's no one even in the vicinity. It's another foot race with about 3 or 4 UTEP defenders in pursuit, and none of them can get to Cottle, and he's going to get into the end zone. So our biggest transfer threat right there is Cottle. He's been on the fence about it since last year, and we probably could have encouraged him to leave, but I felt I needed him for things like that, for things of that nature. Because he is a great answer here to Briggs Jr. His overall isn't that high. I think he's like a 74, but he's got good speed like that. That's what I like. If you got good speed like that, we can use you, because that was basically Robert Briggs Jr. role last year. He couldn't really do a whole lot, but he was just fast, so that was really kind of it, and we could just utilize that speed. So UTEP works it inside the red zone, and on 2nd and 2, they find a nice open receiver in the corner. It wasn't really open, man. We had a couple guys in the vicinity, including Ike Larson, who can't seem to get away from him, but neither of them could make a play on the ball. But that would be all that UTEP would do for the rest of the game, and so 31-13 is your final score from Logan, Utah, in a packed house at Maverick Stadium for the first game of the year. So, and Robert Briggs Jr., of course, player of the game with 146 yards, as well as 2 touchdowns. Just another amazing performance. So we saw Faison have, over 1,200 yards last season, or I think it was more than that. It could have been 14. A great year for him. So we're probably going to see similar numbers now from Briggs Jr. being that primary option on offense for us. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm okay with that as well. So, looking over the breakdown, our offense absolutely dwarfed UTEP's. Probably if we limited the mistakes, we probably would have scored close to 50 points, but that is not how things worked. UTEP netting at negative rushing yards because of all of their sacks, of course. Yards per rush, negative 0.4. That's just, yeah, I don't want to buy into that. We still struggled on 3rd down, unfortunately. So, yeah, running on offense, I really had to fight for every yard towards the first half of this game. And it wasn't until, some of the big plays went off where we kind of just broke through and didn't have to worry too much about getting ahead on 3rd down, if we could just get ahead on 1st and 2nd. So that ended up being pretty much how the game went. So Forrest Brock's stat line still pretty good, even though the two picks is pretty bad. But again, I'd largely just blame myself for those. It was on the same play because I don't know. I put faith in that route. I think something's going to happen every time I throw it, but it just picked every time. So I just got to stop throwing it. So Tevin Willis is the class of our receiving core today with 154 yards. Does not find the end zone, unfortunately, but he does generate pretty much all the production from our receiving core. So, yeah, a lot of our transfers not really getting super involved so much today. But there will be a chance. There will be lots of chances. And then Logan Peely, who I think is another transfer that we got, he was really kind of the class of the defense today. Picked up a sack, 2 TFLs, and 9 total tackles. So good performance by him and all around. And Elias Carrero had 1.5 sacks as well. So we were getting in the backfield pretty consistently. So here is an update for recruiting. I found a few gems through scouting. So there's a lot of 3-star gems that we were kind of in on. A lot of 4-star guys that we were in on. We've already lost out on 2 of them, as you can see, but as far as recruiting goes, we are doing decently well. It's still early, so when the next update comes, we'll see. But the next game ahead for us is number 13 Texas A&M in College Station. So this is going to be a tough game. There might be a lot of implications for our season if we can win it, as far as rankings go. So I'm going to need everybody in College Station to help root on the Aggies.